Okay.
Sure. Well, my name is Aftershock, otherwise known in Oshawa as Oshawa's Turtle Man. What was the other thing you wanted to know?
Oh, just like what your I guess we could go motive. Sure.
Well, the motive behind what I do is just trying to help out my community and just be an extra eyes and ears for, any crime or anything suspicious or dangerous going down. Anyone in general need of help, we try to be of assistance to. That being someone being caught in the middle of a mugging or burglary or an assault, or that being someone who's in need or homeless or anything like that. We try to, prepare homeless handout packs in order to, provide them with a few necessities and stuff like that.
Yeah, so for instance, tonight I got a few handout packages I assembled. It's got some simple things in it like first aid kit, rain poncho, a snack, bar of soap, some like antiseptic wipes, a pair of socks. So yeah, my name is Nameless Crusader. I joined in, was it late 2012 or 2013? I think it was 2013.
Really? I was going to say 2011.
I don't think it was that early. That's when I had my first inkling.
Okay. Probably 2012 then.
Yeah, it was. I was one of those guys that watched Kick-Ass, and sort of, underneath the Hollywood action and gratuitous dressing, I read the actual message that was there. I'm like, well, what's stopping me from actually dressing up like this and going out there and do this? So I did some research. Lo and behold, I found out that not only have other people had the same mindset, but somebody in Oshawa already had started doing this. So it took, give or take, a year of me physically and mentally prepping myself before I finally had the nads to come out and join him on his first patrol.
Well, obviously the gear plays a huge role, not only because it's the image that people will see, but for protection as well, right?
Yeah.
Right.
The interesting about the gear is that there's this kind of this heightened fear of the look, right? Of the armor, and it kind of associated with maybe terrorism or anything like that kind of nature.
Yeah, I mean, we do our best to appear friendly. Like I actually brightened up my outfit considerably since my first iteration. And you're right, even during the day, people do unfortunately have that first impression. Case in point, we were at Ribfest Oshawa at the, was it like halfway through August?
Yeah.
And we had phoned into dispatch, the police dispatch, and let them know we were going to be there and that we were going to be walking around, just keeping an eye on things and doing our part to, help out. And we were there for about an hour before a police cruiser pulled us over, and we got heavily chastised by a police officer. Apparently we were scaring children and could have been mistaken for, as you were saying, an active shooter, which, I don't really necessarily agree with that statement, because we did have people coming up to us, asking for pictures, wanting to know what we were all about. And the officer did say that it was her own personal opinion and not the opinion of the DRPS. But in order to be cooperative, we offer to just leave and not cause any further issues.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, one of my kind of philosophies on being a Welsh or a real-life superhero is you don't really need to be where the police are, because if the police are there, it's already being handled. We need to be on foot in an area that is not being actively patrolled by the police and not actively being watched and looked at for criminal activity or people in need. So if the police are already there, technically we don't need to be there and the job's already being handled. So when the police officer did arrive and say, you guys are, in our view, causing a problem, we don't need you to be here, could you leave? We were happy to oblige and let them, take care of the situation. However, the reason why we were there originally was just to spread awareness, come out in the daylight so that people could see that we're benevolent and are willing to talk to them and give our half of the story, and as opposed to what the police officer did imply, we actually did have a good reaction from children and families and stuff. Like you said, like Nameless said, sorry, we got pictures taken, a lot of kids excited to come up and see us, like, hey, look, superheroes, and it was a wasn't as malevolent as what the police officer was saying, but since they did not want us to be there, we were fine with leaving.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, like, all things considered, our interactions with the police are generally pretty positive, actually.
Yeah, 9 out of 10 times, they're very, I'm going to say supportive of what we do, but for the most part, we're tolerated.
Yeah, it straddles the line somewhere between tolerated and supported, so like somewhere in the middle ground.
Exactly.
So they're happy we're out there as long as we don't cause them problems.
Yeah, of course. Because obviously, like I mentioned, that people could call in, complain. They might, be upset. They might be scared, whatever it is. And as long as they know, and then people know that you're no harm, then
Yeah, I mean,
yeah, there's the odd misconception from someone who's somehow never heard of us in this town or just has never seen us. There will be like the odd, like someone reporting, oh, they were walking around some cars near a driveway near my house or something, or they're like peering in at my valuables. It's nothing like that. If you do witness us, quote unquote, peering in at things, literally what we are doing is we're keeping an eye out for your belongings, keeping an eye out for your family, keeping an eye out for your vehicles that are in your parked driveway to make sure there's no one coming in, checking, like ways to enter your home or trying to burglar your vehicles or houses. We're not doing that. We're looking out for the people that are doing that. So
yeah, and it's not like we're going up to the cars and like jiggling the handles either. We'll just like casually glance by at stuff as we pass by. If something looks off, then we'll inspect it further, and then if we deem it suspicious enough, we will call it into the police.
Yeah, we're mostly just trying to be vigilant as possible.
So what you guys are doing is pretty honorable. How'd you get to this point?
Well, just to sum it up really quickly, I was a security guard for 4 years. In the last kind of few months before leaving that job for undisclosed reasons, I don't really feel like bringing it up, but before leaving that job, I did decide that my vigilant, not vigilante, but vigilant abilities could be used in the public besides just walking around my little site that I had for, my security guard job. And I'm like, well, if I can be doing this for this company and, helping them keep their money, why can't I be out in the public watching out for my fellow man, making sure that everyone's, safe indoors, they're safe, their belongings, like their vehicles are not getting burglarized, people aren't getting, mugged on like the pathways here or along dark back alleys or streets. And I just decided one night just to, I said, heck with this, I'm gonna go out and do it. I threw on a really kind of makeshift costume and just started patrolling around my area. And depending on where I moved to and lived, I kind of upgraded my gear and my look and my patrol routes. So eventually I made myself available here in Oshawa, and that's pretty much our main stomping grounds for now.
Right. And of course you had watched the movie and you got into it that way. Now walking here, we actually kind of encountered some shout outs from some people. Is that the general reaction?
I'd say 1 in every 4 or 5 people decide to, say something funny or shout something out of their car window.
Yeah, the people that we passed on the way here, 1 or 2 of them I think were interested in what we were doing and kind of just trying to, create an interaction. Unfortunately, we couldn't stay and chat because we did have to meet up with our loyal cameraman here, PJ, from Dolphin Productions. He likes to help us out every now and then by following around, capturing our adventures on the camera and making it well known for the public that we're out there. So yeah, they were trying to interact with us as we were passing by, but like I said, unfortunately we couldn't stop and chat. But we normally do, if we have time, we will try to take time out of our patrol to make sure that we talk to the public if they are interested in speaking with us. Like I mentioned to you earlier prior to the interview, we don't like to approach people directly if they don't look like they're receptive of our presence.
Yeah, even when we're passing people on the street, we're sure to give them a wide berth so that they don't get terribly uncomfortable with us passing by.
Yeah, especially if they're just short, young women or just women in general that see 2 armored men walking in the direction. We try to make sure we either give them a wide berth, like you said, as we pass by or cross to the other street. Just it's Oshawa at night can be intimidating as it is, and if someone doesn't know what we are, what we're doing, we don't want to strike fear into the average citizen, just the criminals.
Of course. Now, I'm actually curious. Do you guys still have a set kind of patrol dates?
Well, it's only a set date every week because that's only when our schedules really line up. I have a very busy week between my job, my side business, and other endeavors. I work about 80 hours a week. And he has multiple side projects that he works on.
Yeah, I mean, I do a lot of like arts and crafts kind of things. I'm not going to get to specific things, but I make stuff and sell them. I'm also a musician and kind of a stay-at-home father and stuff like that. So
I remember that you were having a child. How's that going?
Good. We've actually got 2 kids now.
Oh,
so
congratulations.
thank you very much.
He actually manages to get some sleep now.
I know. How?
Well, I mean, the thing about children are between, first being born and up to about 8 to 10 months, it's you're waking up every 2 hours to feed or change them. So you gotta do it in shifts if you have, or if you're lucky enough to have a partner who's able to, get up the first time. You can sleep for 4 hours, and then they'll get up, for the other feeding or changing, and usually both. But yeah, that first 10 months is not good for your sleep.
I'm sure. Now, it's funny you talk about partners. Does anybody know that you do this?
There's a few people close to me who know, notably the people I live with. But other than that, especially from my coworkers, my family, that sort of thing, I keep it as much anonymity as possible. Just because who I am underneath the mask has no bearing at all. People often wonder why we prefer to be anonymous, and it's for the sake of bringing attention to the idea, not the person doing it.
And for myself, yeah, there's a few members of my family and stuff like that know who I am and what I do, and the people that do know support it and are able to keep my civilian identity secret because they know what I'm doing matters. And if anyone was to really find out who we were underneath, it could have negative repercussions, i.e. Nameless's job, i.e. my kids or my wife could be affected depending on who we apprehend out here, who gets a little pissed off with, being, having the cops, alerted to their criminal activities or whatever. So yeah, the people that do know what I'm doing support it, but we try not to let too many people know. For safety reasons, for job reasons, but as well, it doesn't really matter who we are underneath. We're not in it for the fame or the glory or to get well recognized in the media. But at the same time, the costume and the masks do draw attention to the good deeds that we're doing, so it allows us to remain anonymous for several different reasons while still drawing attention to the cause.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
I remember last time that we talked that there was another Bombshell.
Yep.
Is he still part of the group?
There's Bombshell and Broken Silence. Unfortunately, they've moved away and since retired. We're trying to successfully roust them out of retirement for actually this might be a good time to announce it. In December, on the 17th, the Justice Crew of Oshawa, us, will be teaming up with a group of real-life superheroes in Toronto called the Katalysts of Ontario. And there's going to be 10 or more of us easily, all doing this big homeless outreach program. So we're going to have, last year we had a metric crap ton of stuff. We had an entire buggy full of bottles of water, duffel bags full of clothes. I don't know if it was last year or the year prior, but somebody went to McDonald's and bought 20 or 30 sandwiches to hand out. Yeah, it was pretty nuts. And then the year before that, I don't remember any specifics, but MTV had covered the event as well.
So how did you get hooked up with this other group?
The real life superhero community, because there's not a lot of people doing it, tends to be very connected. As soon as someone joins, they start networking amongst people who have been at it for a while. I have a couple newcomers message me every once in a while. Right now I have someone called Lady Cloud who's talking to me and getting some tips because she wants to be a real life superhero as well.
Do you get that a lot, that people message you and then they do not go through it with it, or that they actually do?
Unfortunately, as Aftershock can probably testify, we do get a lot of hopefuls, but not a lot of people who stick it out.
Yeah, I mean, the main kind of the way it goes down is someone will email the Katalysts at live.com, I will receive the notification on my phone, because it goes right to my phone, which is great. And I will, the LG, and I'll answer the email, and they'll say, I'm interested in this and this and this, and I'll reply, well, why are you interested? How did you find out about us? Tell us a little bit more about yourself and why you want to do this particular thing. We might get one more email back, and then I'll kind of tell them, like, there's no weapons, there's no this, there's no that. And then basically once they find out half the time that they can't come out here and kick people's ass, they're like, oh, well, I don't really want to be a part of it then. And it's unfortunate that people kind of have this expectation that there's a lot of action, there's a lot of criminal ass-kicking going on out here. But sometimes when they find the reality that it's mostly just a bunch of, keeping your eyes peeled and helping the needy and stuff like that, they're like, oh, well, it kind of lacks luster sometimes. So based on that, we kind of get a lot of like incommunicado or drop-offs. But
case in point, there was actually a guy who was supposed to meet us tonight that never got back to us about whether he was going to come or not.
Right. I guess that kind of weeds people out, right?
I mean,
out there, people that might not have the right intentions.
Yeah, I mean, it's unfortunate, but yeah, like he was saying, if people come to see that it's just literally a lot of walking around and keeping an eye out and basically shooting the shit with each other while they just keep an eye out. And then I guess they're not willing to stick through the boring parts and a lot of walking around and cardio.
Yeah, well, I mean, case in point, we had a member named Regulus who came out for one patrol with me, and then for two kind of public events where he was able to get pictures taken and be in an article, and then I haven't really heard from him since. So it's like they want to be in it for like the exciting parts or kind of like the newsworthy parts, and then they don't really feel like doing all the grunt work, which is what I try to tell anyone who tries to become a Relsh, or our case, a Katalyst. You got to come at it for a real deep down personal reason. You got to have kind of the vim and vigor to stick with it, because we might not be doing crazy, super exciting things every patrol, but there'll be that one time where we're really needed out here, and that's what counts. Helping out homeless people that might not have any items that they need, or just talking to them, making sure that they have resources and know where to go to. It's not always about like catching a mugger in progress, or seeing like someone trying to vandalize a car or steal a car, anything like that. It's more just being out here and trying to make a difference if and when needed.
With the 3 years we've been operating together, I think we've only had to call the police like 3 or 4 times.
Right.
So there's not a lot of crazy stuff that goes down. We've been attacked a couple times and been threatened a couple times, but that's just Oshawa, right?
So how did you prepare for those instances?
Well, we certainly do wear armor. I mean, our stuff is as effective as it is colorful.
Yep.
And one thing we make sure to adamantly do is be very passive and, what's the word I'm looking for? Just kind of lower the danger level of the situation, and like try and talk people down. De-escalate, that's the word I'm looking for. And just, try and calm them down. But obviously we're at the ready in case things do go sideways.
Right, of course.
Yeah, it comes from a lot of body language. You got to learn to read people and how their mannerisms and different way they're speaking to you come off, whether they're intoxicated, whether they're aggressive, whether they're friendly, whether they're just maybe not so aggressive, but they're kind of apprehensive about who you are, so you kind of get a weird reaction sometimes from them. And if they're aggressive, you want to make sure that your eyes are on their hands at all times, because where their hands go might lead to a weapon or altercation. You want to I normally try to keep like a good arm's length plus like a little bit more away while I'm talking to someone who I perceive as potentially aggressive, or just not someone that seems like benign. And you basically just gotta watch and keep a good eye on what they're doing and how they're acting.
Yeah, even if they seem friendly at first, just something could snap and all of a sudden they're not so friendly.
Of course.
And then, there's been once or twice where we've been talking to somebody, weren't quite sure where it was going. It was just all of a sudden they reach over and like try and take my mask.
Oh yeah, we've been attempted demasked a few times. Or he's had his badge ripped off his chest once or twice. It's I don't know what goes through people's heads, but like it's like, have you ever thought that maybe aggressively or assaulting someone in a mask isn't a good idea? Like, have none of these people watched the horror movie? No, joking.
No. Now, obviously, you mentioned that there's no weapons.
No.
Yeah, that would be illegal.
Yeah. Even things that aren't originally intended to be a weapon but could be used as a weapon.
Well, for example, I mean, this is just a foot-long flashlight, but
it's like the legal limit. Anything longer, and
as you can see, it's got some weight to it. It's metal.
So, what other gear do you have on you?
Aside from armor, I've got a what's it called? Disposable camera, so I could take pictures of suspects or evidence or just anything that I need to just take something out and take a picture without having to mess around on my phone. Now, I don't ever see this actually being an issue, but in like that 1% case, it's also less likely to be considered like digitally edited because it's in an analog format.
Yeah, it could just easily be handed off to the police too if they ever need evidence.
Yeah, and I'm not forced to like give out my phone with pictures on it for that.
And you obviously have a whistle.
Yep, emergency whistle.
Yeah, which would be good to like alert people of danger going on in the presence, or just like have a lot of people's eyes on you if something is going on and you need witnesses.
Yeah, because the last thing anybody who's doing something criminal wants is attention, especially loud noise.
Right. Which is kind of odd considering a lot of people go, "Oh, you guys look nefarious. You look like you're bad guys." Like, why would a bad guy dress like a Thor thumb, or a sore thumb rather? I mean.
Another thing, you wouldn't think it, but we do often get asked if we're police officers. Sometimes, yeah.
Okay. I mean, I do wear like a police officer belt, and the flashlight might look like a baton, but other than that, like if the police officers dress like this, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you.
So, is there any other gear? Just so I can kind of write it out.
Well, myself, I've got Katalyst cards. I've got a lighter, just in case I need a light. I don't even know why I have it. Just kind of have it. I also have a flashy kind of rubber band thing to give to a child if they've been lost and they're kind of like freaking out or panic mode. I can always be like, "Oh, it's all right. Here's a friendly trinket to tide them over," and just be like, "Listen, hold on to this. It'll give you special powers. It'll make you brave until we find your mommy or daddy or whatever." Stuff like that. I also have backup flashlights. I believe I've got crazy glue in here just in case someone's wound is open. You just need to like glue it shut and just hold it until the paramedics arrive. I've actually had to do that on my arm one time when I got a nick from a knife slash. I got a medic pack and some non-latex gloves just in case we have to deal with anyone's bleeding or pick up anything that's like not really good for you to be handling.
Do you have similar gear?
Yeah, we try not to carry too much of the same, just so we are better equipped, because two people carrying the same stuff tends to be just a waste of space. Right. So one thing that is really good to carry for everybody is a flashlight. That's kind of a go-to. I carry a notebook and a pen just so I can write down quick descriptions of something or take down contact information from any witnesses or something that aren't going to be around when the police arrive. And just any details that are fresh in people's memories. I've also got, what else do I got on there?
We also carry our IDs on us just in case the police need to see them.
Yeah, caution tape is another thing I carry. So if I do spot something that's either broken and dangerous to people walking by, or there was like a crime and there's people nearby, it's just good to tape off the area so that people
form
don't
a parameter and make sure no one's like corrupting the evidence.
I mean, we're not trained to deal with crime scenes, and we'd rather not screw it up and give the police a hard time. So the best we can do is
just mark it off. Just make sure no one's touching it. Just show the police where it is and whatnot. It's kind of like you have to sit down sometimes and have a meeting and just kind of discuss between teammates, like what could potentially happen, what are we going to prepare for, what are the odds of certain things happening, and just kind of prepare on our person what we need for said situations.
Right. Yeah, like some of the stuff we don't expect will really happen, but it's good to have that there just in case.
Kind of like I'd rather have it and not need it than need it and not have it.
Yeah. Case in point, I carry about 100 feet of paracord in my backpack. Just if we find ourselves in a stupid situation, like we're either in a ditch or up on high ground and we need something to
rappel down, save someone who's like in a creek or somewhere that we need to wrap around and help pull up, or just silly stuff like that that might never happen. But
so what's probably the most dangerous situation you guys have been in so far?
I wouldn't necessarily say any one specific thing sticks out, but we've been attacked by a couple of drunk individuals with like a thick branch, snapped it off both our heads.
Yeah, I mean, we're wearing armor, so it didn't really affect us, but since they're inebriated and are willing to like attack people with a branch anyway, we don't want some innocent person walking through there and getting attacked in the same manner, so we obviously have to call it in and let the police know there's someone inebriated and swinging a branch around. So.
And then the one that really sticks to mind is the time we were actually just walking down Simcoe over there, and I think we've told PJ the story before, but this guy came up to us and he didn't like directly threaten us, but what he said, you could tell there was a hidden meaning behind what he was saying.
Basically, it's like, this is a dangerous neighborhood, you guys are in over your head, and you should probably come around
anywhere we want to put it,
we're going to put it. Basically, one could assume that it was a drug dealer or someone who oversees drug dealing, and basically advising us to stay out of his hood or his area. So we don't exactly know, because that's not specifically what was said, but from the body language and from what he was saying, that's pretty much what it was.
You had mentioned about the gash. Was that on patrol? Or was that in your personal life?
No, it was actually during one of my kind of temporary employment jobs. I was at a metalworking factory, and I was trying to use a box cutting knife to open up one of the products, and it slipped, and it went into my arm, and there was nothing really around, and I was kind of starting to bleed pretty profusely. So what I did was I just kind of opened up one of the shelves they had, opened up some super glue, put it in the cut, and just closed it shut, and kind of walked off to the supervisor. I'm like, yeah, I kind of gourded myself, I need to go see the medic.
It's ingenious.
So I miss paperwork later.
Yeah. So alternatively, like, what's probably been your proudest moment?
Like busting some drug dealers. Like, I was out of costume for one of them, but there's a guy who is standing over by the auditorium thing there, who, when I walked by, he asked me if I was interested in buying some tree, and I said, like, you're not selling drugs in the park, are you? And then he gave me the weirdest response. He's like, yeah, but I'm only going to be here for a bit. I'm like, okay then. So I kept walking, and I went around the block, so they didn't really see where I went and didn't really notice it was me. Year-olds with like a little hoodie pouch full of miscellaneous items, and obviously he's selling the weed to the kids, so I'm like, no, this is not happening, not on my watch. So I called it in, I gave a description of the suspect and what was going on, and within about 10 minutes I saw the patrol car come on up, and they came out, they ushered him over to the vehicle, and they checked his person, and basically he was on the hood with his hands behind his back pretty quickly, so had that taken care of. As well, another incident was actually while we were both on patrol, myself and Nameless, with PJ. There's someone selling weed near the Atria bar, and just kind of like in a small little cul-de-sac area, just clearly just passing stuff back and forth. We had to cut the camera and call it in. So
yeah, like we're not naive. We're not going to be able to stop people from smoking pot, especially considering it's going to be legal soon. But for the moment, it is still illegal. And if you're going to be dealing, at least be smart and don't do it out in the open where people are going to see you. There's a motto I live by: play stupid games, win stupid prizes. So if you're going to not even make any effort to conceal what you're doing, well, I'm going to call the police on you, and you're going to have fun with that.
Yeah, I mean, if we see it, we're going to have to call it in, unfortunately. And until it's legalized, of course.
Yeah. Now, I just have one last question, and you don't have to answer, but I just thought this would be kind of fun. Like, you're obviously people outside of the costume. What do you do when you're not on patrol?
Well, myself, like I said, I'm a stay-at-home parent, and I've had kind of things that don't enable me to get like a 9-to-5 job. I've got kind of a physical thing with my leg that doesn't enable me to stand in one place for too long of an area or lift 50 pounds multiple times at, let's say, a factory job. So I can't really do that, but I do find different ways of still maintaining my health and still trying to get out there in the community to do helpful things, i.e., being a real-life superhero. I'm still limited to how long I can do this, but I still get out as many times as I can, and I might have a bum leg for a few hours the next day after a patrol, but I still get out here and do that. But besides that, I also have different projects that I do to help me make money. Just like arts and crafts things. I might eventually set something up on Etsy or something. I don't know if you know what that is, but stuff like that. I'm also a musician in my spare time and try to sell merch and CDs and do some Eric Clapton covers or something.
Yeah. What about you?
Yeah. As for me, I mean, obviously I can't be super specific because of the whole anonymous superhero thing, but I went to school for 4 years, 1-year prep program and then a 3-year advanced diploma. And then about a year after, I'm happily employed in a field directly educated by my college experience. As well, outside of that, I run a side business. I am aspiring to get something published by roughly this time next year. And, I still find time to come out and be a real-life superhero.
Right.
I also record a video every week that I publish on YouTube for basically to help out anybody who's interested in becoming a real-life superhero. So all things considered, including real-life superhero stuff, I work like 80 hours a week or something insane like that. So yeah, like we come from all walks of life.
Yeah. Actually, sorry, I have one more question, and it's how long do you see yourself doing this?
I personally see myself doing this for as long as I'm physically able to, as long as my health is maintained, and as long as I'm in a good frame of mind to do so. I plan on, doing my Welsh work as long as I can, and trying to help out the community as long as I can. Ideally, is I would like the Katalysts to eventually have enough members to become a non-profit organization recognized by the government, thus allowing us to have enough sponsorship and enough community pull to donate a lot more to the needy and homeless, clothing, food-wise. Maybe even get some non-profit shelters being built that is geared to lower income levels and stuff like that. Big dreams, but that's why we need more members. We need more people to get on the streets and help us watch for stuff, because that's another thing too. If we're only able to get out like once or twice a week, or 3 or 4 times a month, we're not going to be out here seeing everything. We're not going to be able to catch all the criminals and stuff like that. So the more people we do have, the more action we potentially do have seeing. So that's what people don't understand. Like, it might be boring now, quote unquote boring. Like, we're glad that we don't see anything and everyone's safe while we're on patrol. But the more people join, the more we can see and keep an eye on, the more stuff we will run into. Because the more eyes and the more ears on the ground, we will catch more, criminals and that kind of activity. So we do encourage more people to join, even if right now it's boring to them.
Yeah, like to answer that same question you asked, I like to see us as a sort of balancing an equation. Right? You have people out here doing stupid criminal stuff, so we're out here to balance it and be doing good things, right? So to directly answer the question, pretty much as long as there are people on the opposite side of the fence doing bad things, there's going to be us out here trying to do good things.
So yeah, as long as there's criminals and bad guys, there's going to be, good guys and real life superheroes. So.
Of course. Is there anything else you guys want to say? I think you've covered a lot of ground.
Yeah. We do have a website if you want to point people towards it.
Yeah.
It's jco.webs.com. And that's just a good point to research everything about the Katalysts and the Justice Crew.
Of course.
Yeah, and just kind of anyone who's watching or listening to this right now or reading it if this ends up becoming in an article, you don't need a mask, you don't need armor, you don't need a cape, you just need a good heart and the willing to make the world a better place. Like, we don't need a whole bunch of capes and masks running around out here. We just need more people that are willing to make a difference in their community, join us on patrols, and keep an eye out for their fellow man.
That's perfect. Thanks so much, guys. I really do appreciate it.
No problem, man.
Save this. Your arm must be dead.
Oh, it's all good.
He needs like a little sling to like tie his arm to his shoulder, so it just
He's like, no, this is my good arm.
Yeah.
I mean, dang, that was on camera.
Alright. Yeah, if you guys don't mind, can I get a couple pictures just for the story?
Yeah,
and then
you want to kind of stand back so you can get us in,
yeah, that'd be great. This camera's actually pretty good, so should be good with light.
Are you going to use flash?
I probably will.
Right,
Just because of the
like
nighttime.
And they light up like the sun when somebody
Okay.
uses flash.
Well, let me test it out and see.
Yeah, just so you can get an indication of what it looks like with the flash. See what I mean?
It blows out quite a bit.
It's like a tire on a nail spike, on a nail spike tire. Any better?
That was better, actually. That's a really good close. I'm going to get a couple more.
I'm smiling, I promise. Can't really see with that down, it's so fogged up. Who is that handsome guy?
There's my girlfriend testing the camera. Very nice. I'm gonna go get some sleep.
Yeah,
I got an early morning, but
I hear you, man. Up at 7:30. Don't
Yeah.
get to work until like 10:30.
yeah. Actually, I'm a morning guy. I like 6 o'clock.
Yeah.
I like it at 6 o'clock. Wake up, get some work done.
You'll like it until you have kids.
What's that?
Yeah, you'll like it until you have kids.
Yeah, yeah.
Or you
we'll
have
see.
to commute to Toronto like I do.
Yeah. Oh, job.
Yeah, I'm up at 7:30, out the door by 8.
Yeah.
At work at 10:30. Don't leave work until about 7:15. Don't get home until 9:30.
Yeah, but it's all good because you have a quick like 15-minute snooze while you're waiting in traffic.
Yeah. Just stop right on the 401.
That's why I wish I had a Tesla. Just turn on autopilot. No,
Yeah.
don't do that. You're not supposed to do that.
No. I'm putting that in the article. Yeah. All right. Thanks a lot, guys. No, I
problem.
appreciate it.
Thanks for
Hopefully,
seeing us again.
see you guys soon.
Yeah.
See you around. I'll email the stuff.
Nice to meet you, man.
Yeah. I'll email it to you.